everybody.
Hey, everybody. Sorry we're a minute or two late. Had to get some things done. And I just want to shout out a thank you to Steph at Wild Lilies Jewelry in Ambler. Thank you so much for the complimentary jewelry, because now I get to wear it.
Right.
And I love this. So anyway, and also in Ambler, Extra 101 for my top. So, I mean, you know, my top. Okay. Anyway.
Great place, Ambler. Shop local.
Really, it's just a great little town. Isn't the energy like so,
Yeah.
you know, it's just awesome. Okay. So, welcome to broadcast 25. This is huge.
It is huge.
25, 2 and 5 is a 7, spiritual. And one of the points I'm making today about something is about your higher self. So that's kind of cool. So our topic today, okay, kind of unwinding here. Okay, understanding the experiences in your life. Like everybody's walking around, why is this happening? Why is that happening? And I have noticed there's more of a calm lately with people when they're experiencing things. I think everybody's starting to get a note of stepping back a little bit when a situation happens and looking at it not only with these eyes, but actually kind of conversing with your higher self a little bit about, all right, how am I going to react to this?
I think they're exhausted too.
Yeah, from dealing with
From dealing with everything.
for so
like,
long.
and I think that's what you need.
Definitely.
You need to like find that, you know, it makes you stop. At some point, if you don't get the message, it's just going to bring you to your knees.
Right, and if you're not hearing the message, start to really notice how you feel when a feeling comes in. Get real quiet. You know, like I want to say living in the moment, and I'm saying that because I was really last night I was watching. Laura Spencer did this really wonderful people thing. I just was watching it. I was flicking, so I watched it.
Okay.
And it was about relationships and people and how they relate to each other and what's really happening. Like, what do you see? Is it genuine? What do you see? Is it like an alter thing? And when they got to Celine Dion, which I couldn't wait to see her portion of it, I feel quite a connection to a lot of the experiences that she and I are both in the same place about right now, and moving on and going forward, and the show must go on. We both had very similar things happen, and she says that she learned, and I believe it's probably from Renee, her husband that passed, there are 2 days in your life that do not matter, and it's yesterday and tomorrow, which brings us to living in the moment and understanding the experiences of the moment right then and there. And all along we've been talking about really changing our perception, and that's like old news, getting into the feeling of what's happening right now, disconnecting hopefully with the emotion of it, and start to think the why right now.
Right.
And in doing that, you really are able to understand exactly in that moment, maybe sort of why something's happened, but to get yourself to that, what do I do with it now? Change.
Yeah.
Change is happening so quickly. Every moment in our life is changing. We are not expecting it. We are just not expecting it, and it happens. So I think the real message here is like getting used to the change that happens, and then understanding what that experience is about. And all right, so I'm going to tell you a quick thing that just happened that kind of really fits with this. Good friend of mine's daughter works somewhere. She's been there for a really long time. She's trained in the business and this and that. And they ask her to train somebody new, and she does. And the person that she's training that's new winds up blurting out that she's making a couple dollars extra an hour or more an hour than this young lady who's been there for quite a while. And she goes and says, you know, like, I would like a raise since clearly you can pay more. And she's worth it. She's a great worker, and, you know, you hear it all over. And she was offered 50 cents, which is not nearly what this other new person's making. So she left. And she didn't leave in anger. She left with the thought in her mind, and this is using an experience to learn. She left with the thought in mind, I know that I'm worthy of that more money for what I'm worth to myself.
Yeah.
And something better, or I'm going to be realized for that worth if I don't stay in this place.
Yeah.
But she wasn't worried about tomorrow. And now, today, she's not thinking about what happened yesterday. And a huge offer happened within the next day or two that somebody already called her and said, get on board with me because, you know, I'm going to do this great thing. And because she didn't take personally and start getting on herself because of somebody else's perception of her, look how that opening happened.
Yep.
And don't you feel like things, I mean, everybody has to agree out there, everything is happening so quickly. So think about it. The less time you spend, you know, growling instead of growing with that moment, you're wasting like really precious time
Yeah.
and moving into where you want to be.
Yeah. So we all come here really with like a soul purpose, a soul mission. And when we were talking about this topic, I was thinking, you know, we come and so many people just think we just mill through life, but really all of these things are life lessons, the experiences that come in, and you know, it's more about how you're going to respond and how quick you can learn from that lesson.
Yeah, and like if you want to live in the moment,
Yeah.
like learn in the moment. Like
Yeah.
use every moment.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're really ultimately building on,
Yeah.
is exactly that moment that you're in. Your reaction and response to something is what's going to play the next moment, the next moment, the next moment. And right in that time period, you can say, I really want to be in learning mode. I mean, I really, don't you feel like you and I, when we talk like all the time, we're like, we're so thirsty for learning how to just be in the moment and understanding every single experience like this young lady did, understanding that experience wasn't something to put her down. It was something to make her go within and realize her own self-worth.
And she had a choice. She could have stayed there and beat herself down and down and down.
Exactly.
Or she left and found herself in a higher place where she deserved to be. And that worthiness is something else that we've been talking about, and recognizing your own worthiness. So the time that we're talking about where you take the time to meditate or get quiet is to say, like, who am I going to be in this moment?
Exactly.
And, you know, I feel like for us, we have more and more experiences where it's like, okay, it's time to really get the message so we can move forward.
And you become a teacher.
Yeah, and
in
that was the
every
next thing,
learning moment.
Yeah.
You become a teacher in every learning moment. And I'm going to tell you, this young lady's actions really are a reflection on, I'm going to say in that area, like excellent parenting.
Yeah.
Because you have to learn that self-worth from somewhere.
Yeah.
And since she learned it growing up and really being fed, like I know my dad always taught me, you know, you're such a good soldier, you know, you come through anything. There's nothing that you can't do if you put your mind to it. It actually won me over him at 12 years old, my first motorcycle. So, you know, he's like, oh, you can't. I go, yeah, you told me I could get anything I wanted. And he was like, did I say that, Connie? She's like, yeah, you did, Dom. And a couple months later, I had that little motorcycle that I wanted so badly.
Well, they say your formative years are between the ages of 1 and 7, and that's where we pick up all of, you know, or a lot of our behaviors. So in those moments of learning, you know, if you can recognize some of that too and be able to move forward.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of it lately, so that message has come through to me kind of clearly, and kind of like recognizing where maybe some of the behaviors that you've been caught in. And if you can recognize it and be able to move on,
Right.
you know, those are some of your experiences too. And, you know, we learned some stuff from our parents, but now we have so much information in front of us on the internet.
Right.
And so these experiences, like, I think I'm like a habitual, look at her, would you stop?
I know, I'm sorry. Sorry.
But we have so much opportunity to look up what it is that our issues are. It's kind of what I do all the time. Like, pretty much every day in the morning, I'll reflect on something that's happened and think of, like, how can I change that? How can I change that for myself?
Yes.
So I am recognizing my self-worth and, like, the fact that this has to change, you know, and there's so many different vehicles, including, you know, us teaching this now.
Right.
But there's, like, opportunities online. I feel like that's why all of us in this generational time period are here. We have this information in front of us that nobody ever had before us. Now you can look it up and be like, okay, what does this mean?
And there's so many sources for
Yeah.
spirituality. I mean, I love Wayne Dyer, pretty much anybody connected to Louise Hay. I love skimming through them. I love Deepak Chopra. Like, go to these websites, read some of their wisdom.
Yeah.
Learn, practice, put it into
Practice. That's really
put
important.
it into, you know, play in your everyday life. Like, that's how you learn to change an experience. Don't dwell on it.
Right.
Go, you know, they tell you to surround yourself by people that motivate you.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people who bring positive things into your life, because you're so inspired by that. You begin to use those hints and lessons and wisdom for your own life, and things just start to happen so quickly. You know,
Yeah.
throw YouTube on instead of watching, you know, well, I'm not even going to say any.
Love YouTube. There's so many
love
different.
YouTube.
There's, I mean, pretty much. There was something that I was looking at. I was reading, and then it suggested doing like a self-confidence class.
Right.
So I looked that up because I'm thinking, like, go to it, and there was nothing local, but it was like, oh well, you can go here, and then it was Udemy, and Udemy had, you know, classes for like $10. Well, one of the speakers in that was on YouTube for free, so I'd pay the $10 if I can focus long enough to do it. This guy had like a 12-hour program,
Right.
but on YouTube there are
Right.
small clips where, you know, I usually do probably a half-hour class every morning of some sort, motivation, whatever, self-worth.
Right. And you really need to do, like, whatever
You really
works
do.
for
Like,
you.
keep, you know, if you
Whatever
can't
works
sit
for
and
you.
read for a period of time, you can listen, you can get CDs, you can get whatever,
Right.
and
We're-
look into it.
I think and to add to what you're saying, we're a very visual culture.
Yeah.
And what we see, and I learned this from Ralph and Lonnie D'Amicus, my greatest teachers of feng shui, et cetera, pretty much all that I know, with Richard and Carol Dix, who I'd love to thank for helping me in so many ways in learning this field, and just all my teachers. Life is an experience of what you're looking at. We're a very visual culture, and what we see is what we want. And one of the things that they taught me were, you know, what your surrounding, what your environment looks like is what's going to also feed you. And when you're around people who are, okay, this is better, okay. So there's a couple different kinds of shows you could be watching and spending your time on. You could be on YouTube, looking up this kind of stuff that's going to empower you.
Yeah.
Or you could be watching TV. Now, every once in a while, I do like to watch Criminal Minds. But other than that, I love watching, like, History Channel, documentaries, learning about the great benefits of CBD oil, which a lot of you know out there. And I'm not trying to plug, but Giuseppe sent me these great links. Do you know that they are actually doing research, because now they think the powers that be, that there might be a CBD deficiency in our bodies? This is great news, love it. But anyway, all right, I just segued. What was I just?
You were talking about shows, good shows that
Oh, okay.
fill your
All right.
mind.
So you can watch this stuff fast. Anyway, so when you're watching a lot of reality TV and your life becomes that reality TV show, don't be surprised. If you're
yeah.
watching serious drama and your life becomes that serious drama, don't be surprised.
Yeah.
And just to see if I know what I'm talking about a little bit, next time you're watching TV, notice your physical
Oh yeah.
being,
Mm-hmm.
and start to look at if you're sitting like the people that you're watching on the TV. Because I'm telling you, what you see is where you go. Your energy flows where your thoughts go. And I was observing somebody watching TV one time, and there was a man on TV who was like sitting really, really crouched. And I noticed that, you know, the people that I was with, one of them was sitting there, and like he was like sitting like really crouched, just like the person he was watching on TV. I mean, it's right in front of you, people. It's not anything that you can't figure out yourself or realize about yourself. Your body tells you everything you need to know, and that's another thing. Notice other people's body language.
Mm-hmm. And they say they're programs because they're programming you,
Right.
basically.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So program yourself with what it is that you want in your life. You know?
Right, right. So, okay, so don't get stuck in the drama of what's going on. Be in the moment and figure out at that time, what are you going to do to change what's going on? Figure out why. And if you have to go to a past experience to maybe draw from that, draw it and get out of it. Do not live in your past. I'm not saying go back to your past, because really, I'm telling you, when I heard that Celine Dion quote last night, it just resonated so deeply that it really has kept me in the moment like all day, except for when I just segued. And, you know, understand that everything is to progress you moving forward. And it's up to you to take that next step. Everything in life is about taking the next step.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to stay where they are in every aspect of your life. When things start to fall in place, now you're looking for that, you know, where do I go from here? Just visualize it, because visualization, Tony Robbins did an excellent exercise on Good Morning America this morning, and it was really kind of cool. And if I may steal it and tell you about it honestly, he went like this. He went, take your arm, put it out, and reach around, and see where you reach around to. Okay, now, you can do this at home, okay? Close your eyes. Do this with me. Close your eyes,
I saw this exercise.
and now visualize yourself doing the same exact thing. Don't do it, just visualize yourself picking up your arm, move it around as far as you can. Keep going, keep going, keep going all the way until you bring it to the other side. Because in your mind, you can visualize yourself doing this. Okay, now bring it back around. Now open your eyes. Now put your arm out again and see how much further you can go around, because you just
My
visualized
chair
that you could.
spins.
There you go.
I can go all the
And
way
if you-
around.
There you go. And if you're on a spinning revolving chair, visualize that next time. Honest to God, use your visualization. And you know when you use that, I'm repeating myself again, but meditation every day. I'm actually starting to see billboards that say meditation to me. And I guess it's stressing to me to stress how, not to use the word stress, but it's putting out there to me the importance of meditation every day. Getting to that place within that really is one of the steps to bring you like into that moment. You know, things to meditate on. Disconnecting from other people's expectations. Disconnecting from the emotionally disconnecting from the outcome of things.
Yeah.
I think
Just-
that's another thing that kind of helps you.
Yep, I was just reading about
Stay
that
in the
too
moment.
today. About detaching from all of those things that take you to a bad place. So again, it's about like feeling the feelings that you have inside too.
And understanding that those feelings are stemming
Yeah.
from something before that you
Triggers.
haven't let go yet.
Yep.
So you know what? Like, I love let go, let God, because I'm going to tell you, when you ask your angels to really help you very quickly in getting to the next place and learning the next thing to get to where you need to be, in that moment, asking for the next sign, the next step, the next anything, That's when it happens.
It's better than worrying, because if you were in a state of worry, you're bringing more of what you're worrying about to you.
Right.
So you want to be able to let it go. And,
Exactly.
and program or visualize what the outcome is that you want. And, going back in our steps too, these experiences that you're having coming along, at some point, the realization, and probably why you're here anyway, is like, something should be better. I want something better than this. And then it's recognizing that you deserve that, something better than that. And then putting these steps into place. I think that's why people kind of are here watching to begin with. It's how, we got together too, is like, and a lot of journey in my life has started with the idea of like, is this all there is? And there's got to be something better than this. And that's pretty much what catapulted me into my spiritual journey all these years.
Another thing that really helped me was understanding that life is just a lot of contracts, a lot of soul contracts with different people, different relationships. And sometimes you go back and revise the old contract and go forward, and sometimes the contract is just over. And I think, understanding that, if you're going back and revising, revise. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? Right in this moment, how are you feeling? What in that moment gives you the most joy?
Yeah. And also recognizing that this is your journey in this life.
Right.
And if you have those contracts, that's one thing. But all of this is how you're going to be. And so those meditative moments is also recognizing what's going on with me. It's not anybody else, not anybody else's fault or anything. It's like how you're perceiving your life. What your life experience is all about you and your perception. So to take ownership about, if you're having like a crappy day or whatever, stop right here and say, why is this happening? It has nothing to do with anything else but you. And
why is this happening?
Why is this happening?
I want to change it now.
I want to change it right now. You don't have to stay in that for the rest of the day.
Like, why do people stay in stuff
right?
that feels uncomfortable?
Stop immediately.
Seriously.
Recognize what's going on and take ownership of that, because that empowers you to be able to make the change. Recognize that if I woke up, whatever, on the wrong side of the bed today, and it starts proceeding that way, like, recognize that that's happening. Stop it in the moment.
Right.
Take ownership that this is my day, myself, and then look around and be like, okay, what do I want? How do I want this day to result? So you don't have to live, I'm having no. Change it right now. And that is going to be empowering, and that's going to take you out of that victim place and into a place of empowerment.
Yep.
So
Every
those
day,
are all
every
those
message.
experiences. All the experiences you're having is about you.
Every day, every message really has reflected also on, like, that letting go of anger and jealousy, unforgiveness, all these things.
Right.
I mean, really, I make a point of all those that I feel, not them, but that I feel I may have crossed wrong paths with. Send forgiveness to them, send white light to them, no matter what the circumstances, because what's the difference? It's a thought that changes a negative feeling. And you don't need that in your life to hold you in, you want to move from moment to moment to moment to moment and experience that change, that every little bit of change brings you more into where you really want to be. Donna Cabela once said to me, no matter where you go, there you are. And it has everything to do with being in that moment.
Yeah. Yep. I had so many thoughts on that today too. So I can't even tell you this. How many times have I said something to you about what was happening, and she'd be like, "And what was your reaction to that?" Or what did you do to contribute to that? Right?
That's right. You always want to look at yourself.
Yeah.
Go inside, even if you're the one that like exploded. Go back in and go, was that like me, or was that like some old stuff?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Including letting it happen to you. So it's, if something's happening to you, why are you letting that happen to you?
Listen to the voice in your head. Is it ego or is it your higher self? I don't know about you, but the more I align with my higher self, the calmer I am about things.
Yeah.
Calmer I am about things.
Yeah.
So I would like to thank everybody that joined us today, and we hope this was helpful. And if you found it to be helpful, or you know somebody else that will find it to be helpful, we're very grateful if you'll pass it on and share the message.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, everybody, for being with us.
And also, it's not next week that we're changing, it's the week after that we're going to be the 21st.
The 21st, because it's Tuesday the 21st.
Right.
It's Holistic Apothecary's 7-year anniversary for being here in this lovely little town of Ambler, which I love so much. And people, the people here, the energy, it's just like such a close-knit, wonderful experience here. I'm really glad that this is where I was guided to open. So I want to thank everybody for joining us.
Yeah.
And
I also wanted to ask you too, you've been fidgeting with the grid today.
yes.
What's going on with the energy in the grid?
So the energy in the grid is really all about not going into the past, but the Lemurian crystals help to actually connect with ancient wisdom that's recorded in our cellular memory.
Okay.
And when you think about that, our genes, our DNA are all made up of ancient genes. Thousands and thousands and millions of years of genes. Okay? And all of that memory is in our cells, and Lemurian crystals help to do that. The Tanzanites are helping with intuition. And I think that this is a great time of intuition, healing the soul's path, and understanding the movement forward and the manifestation of things. And quartz crystals, just in general, are really the most powerful stone for helping us to move forward. And I think that we're moving forward at such a quick rate that I think having this energy around us helps to align with that.
Okay.
And to be able to really be in the moment.
Yeah.
And feel grounded there. And the tourmaline, the black tourmaline, is a very grounding, very protective force. And this is an angel aura quartz. And I just love the shape of it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think it just really helps to call in the angelic realms to help with that. This is an aura light.
Yeah.
Aura light is a metaphysical
It looks almost like an
wonder.
amethyst.
It's got about 23 different minerals in it. You can read about it on our site. And it really has so many minerals in it that it's a very grounding, centering. It's almost like an all-inclusive healing stone, heals all the chakras. Definitely get on our site. We'll probably put a link on after this that you can get to. And I love that Steph kind of pointed to this turquoise today, because turquoise is a very protective stone also. And it's not about a protection from people. It's about a protection from anything that's a lower vibration that would kind of throw you off your balance, and we're in a very balancing time. Yours is actually howlite and aventurine, and I'm sorry, but I'm really not sure what this teal is, except it's looking like an African turquoise. So very heart-centering, intuitive, calming, and green, all about balance.
Yeah.
So, and you have the gold, which is the masculine, and I have the silver, which is the feminine. So that whole balance is like really nice. So, all right, well, we're going to thank you for being here. I'm
This
going to
is
get
how
up
we
and
actually do talk too.
kind of
So
do this. Yeah, you're in our
this
inner
is-
circle,
yeah.
circle. Now you're fidgeting with them. Okay, so
That's
thank you,
what it
everybody. We love you. Have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed week, and we'll see you next week, next Wednesday.
thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.